Welcome to another Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Roundtable drive. We're in the Blue Mountains. We're up here looking for the Paul Freeman Bigfoot filming location and the sighting location he had 10 years earlier. Along with a string of other sightings in the area, we're going to visit anywhere from 6 to 10 Bigfoot sighting locations if we have enough time to find them all. But we're in a Bigfoot sighting hot spot in the Blue Mountains.
In Washington?
We're in Washington, and we're actually going to be crossing back and forth the Washington border and the Oregon border up here, looking for these sighting locations.
What road is this called again? The Kendall Skyline Road, right?
Yeah, there's 3 Bigfoot sightings along this Kendall Skyline Road. I understand when Paul Freeman filmed that Bigfoot, he came in from the Walla Walla way. We came in from a different way, Tucannon
Road.
Yeah, that's the way we came in. But the reason we came in that way is between Tucannon Road and the Paul Freeman filmed sighting. There's 3 other Bigfoot sightings that we're driving past, and we'll also stop and film some of those places.
Actually have farm fields up on top of these mountains. We don't have those where we live. I mean,
west of Bear Lake, there's a couple places that look like this.
That's true. There's just a lot here. A big old wheat field right on top of the mountain. It's just neat.
One of the questions is Bigfoot interested in farms right next to the forest? I mean, they interested in the oats, the grains, the alfalfa, the animals that come for that, chicken feed, dog food.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I've heard the stories where the Bigfoot was stealing the feed from whatever animals out of their pens.
The molasses oats that you feed horses, they're good. They taste like granola bar. traveled almost 800 miles to try to find the Paul Freeman video site.
Yeah, we have traveled 800 miles.
800 miles.
Yeah, Paul Freeman wasn't straight up with anybody about the location. You know, hear people say that they've talked to him at this convention, or he makes a statement on this video, or he makes a statement in writing of where it's happened, and just about every time it's in a different spot. You know, he says it's on the Washington-Idaho border, and so forth, or the Washington-Oregon border. And well, we've done some research, and his buddies he was with, some of them have made some statements on where it happened, and we think that Paul Freeman doesn't want all these Bigfooters coming in and snooping around where he filmed it, so he hasn't been straight up with everybody, and I understand that.
Yeah, we don't want people coming in on our turf.
If he wants to keep the place where he filmed it to himself, then, you know, but now he's passed away. And so we've been researching on where it's at. I don't know if anybody's been there since he has passed away. So we're going to go find it. I'm going off of statements that his buddies made in the past. He had a couple of buddies that found the footprints and knew that Freeman was interested in Bigfoot. You know, they were all camping together, so they come back and told him, you know, where they had seen some Bigfoot tracks, and Freeman went up there to cast them and caught his famous film.
And we're going off of their statement of where they said they were at, right?
Right.
Okay.
I don't think those guys were up there to fish. They didn't even believe in Bigfoot, didn't care about Bigfoot, just knew that Freeman had been looking for Bigfoot. And so I don't think they're trying to hide it and being, you know, all on the misdirection thing that Freeman's been throwing at everybody for years, keeping it a secret. But it's in the Blue Mountains, and it's actually, everybody says this was filmed in Washington, going off of what Freeman says, but I think it happened barely across the border into Oregon in the Blue Mountains. We are now on the road that Paul Freeman and his group would have taken on that day. Or not that day, but that trip. I believe they were camping for like a week or whatever it was. So we're actually on a road they took in
to their campsite. They
Right.
had horse trailers, so they couldn't take the mountain road that we just did.
Yeah, we come in from a different way that you just, it's advised that you don't take trailers.
It was good advice. It was very steep and very rugged.
But for where our base camp is, it was a shortcut. We're staying in the Blue Mountains. Benny and I, when it's just her and I, we are pretty comfortable just to sit back and take in the environment and relax, and we don't necessarily chat the whole drive like when we have a third person. So we just wanted to show you guys the drive into this famous Bigfoot sighting location. And to me it's famous because it's the second best footage out there on video of Bigfoot after the Patty. That's how I feel about it. I'm sure a lot of other people don't feel the same, but I really like the footage.
I think the Paul Freeman Bigfoot looks like Homer Simpson because his head and his profile with his belly and everything looks like Homer Simpson to me.
I agree. We refer to it as the Homer Bigfoot. Yeah, because he's got that big belly. And then, of course, the Bigfoot dome type head is just kind of Homer shaped. The only thing is the difference between it and Homer's head's bigger in proportion to his body. This Bigfoot had a smaller head in proportion to its body.
It just reminded me of Homer Simpson.
Yeah, its body. I know, you know, the older men get, the bigger bellies they get. You know, unless they stay in extremely well shape, but generally as the older you get when you're a man, your gut gets a little bigger. But this thing had a giant gut. You know, it makes you wonder if they have stomachs like ours, if they have two stomachs like some animals. I mean, a cow has up to 4. You know, if they have a couple of stomachs, that means they can eat more, a lot more stuff than us. One stomach, most animals can eat more than us though, so.
Yeah, they digest a lot more plant matter and raw meat than we can. The day that Paul Freeman got his video, was it the same day that his friends came down off the mountain and told them, hey, we saw some footprints? Did he go straight away up there? Do you know?
I've read a couple of versions of his story, and that they'd been up there camping. That's a place that they had camped often. You know, they ride their horses in and they do some horseback rides. They also fish, you know. And Paul Freeman, you know, he kept going into the Blue Mountains because 10 years before he had a Bigfoot sighting. And after that, he became a fanatical Bigfoot hunter. He wanted to get this thing on film, wanted to prove to all the people that made fun of him that it is real. Well, even though his friends weren't interested in it, they knew he was. And I don't know if they were coming back from fishing or just a horseback ride, but they were on horseback. And they saw the prints, and they were big, and, you know, they suspected it was Bigfoot. So they got back to camp and told Freeman where they'd seen them. And then Freeman, being a Bigfooter, he had casting material, and he had a camera, and he went back there, and he was filming the footprints before he was going to cast them to document them. And that's when Bigfoot walked across a small clearing for him.
I remember him saying in the video, they only show themselves when you're alone.
Yeah. There he goes.
Oh, that's right.
And he starts breathing real hard. And, you know, a lot of people are like, no way he would have followed that Bigfoot, because he followed it for a good 50 feet or so trying to get more footage of it. But you could tell he was just excited or scared by his breathing and his excitement and everything. But he'd been looking for it for 10 years, had a lot of people ridicule him about his sighting 10 years before. And I think he desensitized himself a little bit. Plus it's daytime and it's going away from him. I think he desensitized himself enough to, you know, get that footage, and he got it. He got that footage, you know.
It took him 10 years, but he got it.
You know, a lot of people have been looking for Bigfoot a lot longer than that and don't even have a fuzzy picture. And that's a pretty good video, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people always, I hear them complain about, well, how come there isn't more videos, or how come the videos are so blurry, or how come this and how come that? Well, we're in the woods all the time, and I'm always trying to get video and pictures of animals. And 9 times out of 10, that animal has run off or went into the trees or whatever before I can even get my camera turned on. And that's just a deer or an elk or what have you. I had 2 weekends ago, we were up in Duchesne County, and there was a coyote on the side of the road, and it was running away from us, and we hurried, stopped the car. I turned on the camera, zoomed in on it, and by the time I zoomed in on it, I only got one picture, and it had crossed half a field and ran into the trees. And that only took less than 15 seconds for that to happen. It's amazing how fast all of that happens. So for him to actually get as much as he did on the film, in retrospect, is impressive to me, because animals don't cooperate. They don't stand there. You can't get your film all, oh, you know, hold still and smile. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, we had a camera at the ready with spotlights and everything. We were out spotlighting along Chalk Creek and Whitney Reservoir and Uintas, and we were going back and forth from the Wyoming and Utah border where these Bigfoot sightings happen. And you know, we're out there at night, and we're on a dirt road by Whitney Lake, and a good-sized wolverine crossed the road in front of us. You know, and I crossed so close to my car, if I hadn't been paying attention, I could have very well made roadkill out of it. But of course, you know, I slam on my brakes, I grabbed the camera that's right there ready, turn it on, and by the time I got the camera on, it had waddled. It was taking its time too. It had waddled halfway across the car, and Jenny was in a better situation to get a picture or video of it. So I throw the camera to her, and oh, by the way, I hadn't got the camera on. I'm sorry. I was fiddling with it, trying to get it on. And, you know, just thinking, oh my God, I need to do this fast, and my fingers are all fumbly and stuff. And I finally tossed the camera to Jenny. Hadn't turned it on yet, and she gets it on, and by the time she gets the camera in position, it wandered off into the woods. And we were just dying. It's like, how are we supposed to get a Bigfoot when we can't get a slow walking wolverine?
This was at the very beginning of our Bigfooting. I mean, when we were first got our cameras and whatnot. So
when we were getting very, very serious.
Yeah, we weren't really good with our cameras.
We had been Bigfooting for several years with just one crappy little picture camera.
Yep.
And you know, the longer we did it, the more more stuff we got. But yeah, 2012 was a year that we pretty much had video camera and picture cameras and
high quality cameras. Mm-hmm. But before that we didn't. And
we would have Walmart special cameras.
And that's the one we tried to get with the Wolverine and the spotlight. And that was a chore. It just didn't happen. I think we would have got it now.
Yeah, I hope so. We have night vision cameras and stuff now, but
it's amazing how difficult it is to actually do what you want to do when you're excited.
That was just a wolverine. But there's been a debate for many years, that wolverines aren't in Utah. They are, blah, 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 blah. And, I hear a lot of experts say, yes, they're here. A lot that say no, they're not. And we filmed one. Well, no, excuse me. We saw one and tried to film it and tried to take a photo of it. So
there are. I've seen a handful.
So that's our Bigfoot story.
I've actually seen
the wolverine that got away.
That is true. I've actually seen a mama wolverine and her babies.
Was that in the Utah or Wyoming?
That was in Utah, outside of Heber City.
Oh, good.
Between Heber and Camas. That was in 2008 when I saw those. I didn't even know what they were. I had to be told that is what that is, because I had never seen one before. This whole Wolverine story has reminded me of a story you told me, how quickly animals can make it up and over top of a mountain. And a Bigfoot is much bigger than a wolverine, and they strapped a collar to a wolverine and they tracked it up and over top of a mountain. And how long did it take?
It took it 90 minutes to go from the bottom of a valley and glacier up over a mountain peak, and God knows why it takes the high road like that gets, but it took it 90 minutes to go from one valley up over a mountain peak down into another valley. So an hour and a half.
That's amazing.
Yeah, something that would take a day or two
for a human.
It did it in 90 minutes. So, Bigfoot isn't a wolverine, but it's a wild creature of the woods, and no reason why it couldn't climb up over a mountain peak into a next valley in 90 minutes. And we're near where Freeman had his first Bigfoot sighting in this area. It crossed the road somewhere in this watershed area. I believe it's called the Mill Creek Watershed. But 10 years before he got his video, the Bigfoot crossed in front of him, and he was working for the Forest Service at the time. Him and another guy that seen it cross the road. And then that's what turned him into a Bigfooter, to get evidence to prove to people that he's seen what he say he saw. And he got ridiculed so much by the people that he worked with that he quit his job and he got a Forest Service job in a different location to get away from the people that he had told all this to.
He was actually with another person, and that other person didn't want to be ridiculed as he was. Just said, yeah, something crossed the road in front of us. Don't know what it was. It was just strange. Something like that.
He just didn't want to talk about it. And, yeah, we saw something. Don't know what it is. I don't want to talk about it. And that's what I got out of it. But Freeman, he, told everybody what he saw. And he got ridiculed by people he worked with. So, yeah, so he got another job in the Forest Service. And then he come up here often looking for Bigfoot, in this area that he had seen it, to try and get evidence to prove to people that it's real. So, he got casting kits, he got a video camera, and then 10 years later, he got lucky. But if he wasn't looking, he wouldn't have got lucky, you know what I mean? He was actively out there looking for it. hard work sometimes equals luck. We're hoping that our hard work equals luck one day. But yeah, the further you get into these Blue Mountains, the more squatchy it looks. I mean,
the outskirts are a lot of farmland.
And one of the reasons we're filming our drive is because his first Bigfoot sighting before he filmed it was a road crosser. And we have a couple of Bigfoot sightings up here where it crossed the road. So,
like we said, when you're driving down the road, there's no way you can get the camera turned on and focused and get any sort of film or picture before the animal is gone. There's no way.
Yeah, if one crossed the road, our best chance is to have the camera running during that road crossing. Otherwise, we'd probably be SOL. We'd get the camera on and say, oh my gosh, it ran that way. Where is it now?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get a deer standing on the side of the road. You just slow down, take a picture, and on your way.
Sometimes it depends on the animal. I've had deer that have crossed and took off running before I could get the camera out. But when you see 24 deer on a camping trip, chances are you're going to be able to get a video or a photo of one, even if you're not being quick on the draw.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Bigfoot. There ain't going to be a group of 12 Bigfoot standing on the side of the road, munching on some grass, waiting for a picture.
No. And then saying, hey, it's not hunting season. I'll take my chances and stand here. Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes of the year they're just so brave. And you can get out of the car, slam the doors, walk towards them, and they just stand there staring at you. And then what's weird is I don't know if it's hearing a couple of gunshots, what it is, but it seems like the week that the week that deer hunting starts, they become scarce. We go into areas where we see them by the dozens. And then as soon as hunting starts, we go in. I mean, do they, after being hunted for so long, do they automatically know, hey, it's hunting season, I better make myself scarce? It's amazing. They somehow know.
They do. They like to go hide on private land is what they like to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get shot over here.
Well, and during hunting season, they don't stand there for photo opportunities. You stop, they look at you, and they bolt.
That is true. That is true.
That's what I've noticed during hunting and season and non-hunting season.
Bluewood on our map. This is right where I told you that the road went down. The pavement ends.
Oh, we're hitting dirt.
From here on out, it's going to be dirt and steep. Big berry patch right there. What are those berries called again?
We've been seeing thimbleberries.
Thimbleberries. Oh, that was a cute one. Chipmunk.
They look a lot like a raspberry, but they're different.
There's lots and lots of pretty wildflowers out right now. So far we've seen deer and wild turkeys and birds and squirrels and chipmunks, but bigger animals. We've seen turkey and deer.
Filming these in Bigfoot sighting hotspots, we started doing that in case we do catch a road crosser, you know, and the odds of that happening, you know, seem so astronomical, but that's the most common Bigfoot sighting out there. If you start grouping the commonalities, the most common one is a road crossing. So when we start getting in the middle of these Bigfoot sighting hotspots, and we're right in the middle of one, there's I have a list of 10 Bigfoot sightings that we're right in the middle of right now. And we're finding some of the spots they happen and give the Bigfoot sighting report and hiking around, but yeah, I've come to where I don't ever expect a Bigfoot to cross, but hopefully I've got a camera running if it ever does.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to see one day. All those lucky suckers that get to see him that aren't even looking for them. Check our map. Somebody busted through it for us.
Bigfoot keeping everybody out. We stopped and took pictures of a hawk today, and there was a bunch of little birds trying to get at him, and he was screeching at them. And it's amazing how loud
a little creature like that can be. Its screech is so loud when you're that close to them. This is our first time Bigfooting in Washington.
Yep, this is our first real Bigfoot expedition to Washington.
I've driven through Washington to get to Vancouver, but I wasn't doing this.
I spent 3 weeks in Washington, but I wasn't seriously looking for Bigfoot. I was a Bigfoot enthusiast at the time and was hoping I would see a Bigfoot.
We just had a road crossing.
Squirrel.
Squirrel! Wait. Oh, okay. This is... Do you think this is the 64 or if that's the 64?
thing I like about visiting Bigfoot sighting locations is you get a feel for the area and what happened. And a lot of these roads to get back to these sighting places, they're along these ridges. You know, these people are, you know, they call Bigfoot a ridge walker. And, you know, the 3 Bigfoot sightings along this Skyline Road. Yep, they're ridge walkers, and people are seeing them on the ridges. And I would have no idea that all these roads are up on ridges unless I come and visited them. And they're seeing them at the high elevations in the area.
Where it's nice and cool is up on top.
Yeah, it's 20 degrees cooler here than down in the valley.
It's really nice up here. Wow, we are just really on top of this mountain.
Uh-huh. If it is, then we are on day Tellus Peak, and we were supposed to take that left. I think we were supposed to take the left.
I think so too, now that we're...
That's all right.
I'm sorry, I should have just listened. We are on one of the highest peaks around here, and we're only at 56,000 feet.
5,600.
I mean, that's what I meant. 5,600.
I knew what you meant.
5,600. We at home live at 4,500, just at our house.
Uh-huh.
And where we go bigfooting, our bigfooting base camp is normally at 73,000, and where
7,300.
73. Gosh, why do I do that? 7,300, and where we bigfoot is almost at 10,000. Right?
You're right. Yes, you're right.
So here is like less, is almost less than half where we bigfoot at home. Is up here
70.
70. That is way better than 90. deer tracks. That's why the rocks are in the road. Knocked him off coming out off that cliff right there.
Maybe Bigfoot was trying to ambush him right there with rocks. Nice and cool breeze. I know it says it's 70, but it feels cooler.
Yeah, it's really
like
nice.
The breeze has some humidity or something.
There's a lot of big thick clouds up here today. I'm sure glad somebody came through with a chainsaw and cleared out these fallen trees.
Yep.
One time
we'd be SOL.
One time we were coming out of the sawtooths and a tree had fallen across the road where we were at. And all we had was a little hatchet. And we had to get out and take turns hacking away at this big tree with a hatchet.
You know, me, you, and Mike.
Yep.
Taking turns on that.
We got it down to the point where we could put a boulder underneath it and jump on it and snap on it. And then we all helped pull it off the side of the road. If we hadn't had that hatchet.
That's the first time that deadfall has kept me in a place that I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to leave. It was the only way between us and out.
Yep. There was no other way out.
No, that was funny. I'm glad it wasn't a serious log. Would have been in trouble.
At the same time, here comes this little dog running down the street towards us, or the dirt road. I'm like, there's a dog in the middle of nowhere. And it just kept coming towards us and coming towards us. And the closer it got, the weirder its little gait got. And it came right up on us. And it was a fox, a really big fox.
Yeah, I took 3 or 4 pictures of it. I have pictures of that fox. If I can find them, I'll throw them in this video. Throw them at the end or something.
It was brave. It walked right up on us.
Yeah, that was a brave fox. He acted like he hadn't seen people before, or very often. Well, we're just on top of the mountain.
Ooh, high up.
Kind of makes your head spin sometimes when you get up this high and looking over the edge. There's a lot of ferns up here.
Yes, there is. Beautiful.
These Blue Mountains are definitely not a disappointment. I have been pleasantly surprised.
There's a lot of milkweed too.
We just filmed one of our Bigfoot sighting locations just a second ago. We run those videos different. Those are sighting report videos, so it'll come out before or after this driving video. Just depends on what mood I'm in and what order I want to put them together. Sometimes the drive video comes out towards the end of a series of videos, if we have one. Sometimes it comes out towards the beginning. I don't know. I don't know when you guys will be seeing this. Hopefully within a couple of weeks. Well, this is just an amazing area.
Yeah, we have another expedition coming up in August. And we haven't decided whether we're going to go to
Lake Tahoe?
Lake Tahoe or
The Tetons.
Tetons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings on the Idaho border of the Tetons. On the Idaho side. So we go to that area a couple times a year looking for Bigfoot. Well, I'm telling you right now, Washington and Oregon, Blue Mountains is just beautiful. I do want to come back and Bigfoot some more after this expedition. I just like keeping on squatching.
It's just a real enjoyable thing to do.
Well, we're camping addicts. We love to camp. So we camp at the places where people see Bigfoot. Haven't changed the way we camp, we just can't change where we camp.
Yep.
We want to camp where everybody's seeing them.
We've seen a lot of places that we wouldn't have if we weren't chasing down Bigfoot sighting locations.
I wouldn't ever come back camping by the Paul Freeman video location if it wasn't for Bigfoot. You know, only reason we're here is and seeing this area is because of that Paul Freeman video. And then of course we checked the entire area out for other Bigfoot sightings besides the one that he filmed, and you know, there's more than a dozen. I just picked out, you know, 10 places to go visit on this trip if we can make it to them all. But there was a lot more than that in this area.
watershed area where he saw Mill Creek?
Mill Creek watershed.
I just saw a posted sign that said that we are in the Mill Creek watershed area.
Yep. It's where he had his first sighting, so he camped and looked many years in and around that area. I feel like as many Bigfoot sightings are in the Blue Mountains. Any place at any given time in the Blue Mountains, you probably have about the same amount of luck.
The temperature's so wonderful up here. I had a big furry coat on. I'd want to be up here too.
Yeah, it's the middle of summer and it just feels great. It's nice and cool, and it's a sunshiny day. Feels wonderful.
Wow, stop here. Turn the camera over there so they can see that. Amazing. And down the other way. We're just right on top of
Ridge crawling. Looking for our hiking spots. We like hiking at each one of the Bigfoot sighting areas. They fought a fire several years ago back in here, and they chopped some of the wood back from the road, making the road a wider fire line. Didn't actually make it up this way, but they did do the preventative measures that year during the fire. Flowers. It's a rough road. They had a washout here, it looks like. I keep thinking we're at the top and we keep going up. Yep, we're on top. Whoa. That is far down. Yeah, this Skyline Road that we're on has 3 or 4 Bigfoot sightings. It's a ridgeline road. We've been following the ridge of a mountain. Can see the valleys on both sides at certain points. Sorry about the rough camera action, but this is really a rough road.
Oh God, we're not doing it in the mud.
You know. If you're getting a great look at how Freeman and his buddies got to their camping spot, where all the Bigfoot action went down. See what I mean? Right along a ridge. We're on the top of a mountain, so we can see down on that side. We see down to the valleys on that side.
There's a monument right there. I wonder what it says.
They were clear the hell back in here. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they were clear the hell back in here, man. But like I tell a lot of people, it doesn't have to be remote to get a Bigfoot sighting. I mean, there's road crossings in a lot of rural areas. There's quite a few sightings out there where people say the Bigfoot's been on their property or peeking in the windows of their homes or camping cabins. There's been campers that have had them look inside their campers, their RVs. So, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, there's cars there, there's big buildings there, there's no way someone saw Bigfoot there. I'm sorry, I don't think Bigfoot has read that rule book that it can't come into a yard or a rural area for whatever reason it happens. But Paul Freeman happened to be in a very remote place in the Blue Mountains when he filmed that Bigfoot. We're getting to see just how remote it is. Look, there's some water. There's a spring nearby.
Yeah, it's coming right up off the top of that mountain right there. There's a lot of green growth everywhere. It read Table Rock, and we were at 6,000 feet.
Okay. There's another way that Paul Freeman could get into this area, and we think that he may come from that way too, but we chose this area because there were several Bigfoot sighting locations on the way to his from this way.
Also, it's much more enjoyable driving through the mountains than driving on a freeway. There's another spring.
That was a good screech. It's a steep drop off.
of those rocks. Pretty little waterfall.
This will be a fun one to put together. I love putting our videos together because I get to relive our experiences, and this drive to the Freeman location has just been beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. Thanks for helping me hold this.
I love these trees that are on top that look like that.
With the moss and stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty. Just crossing the border right here. We're crossing into Oregon.
Yep, and this is the side of the border that I believe he filmed Bigfoot was actually in Oregon. Not very far into Oregon, but I hear a lot of people say that it was shot in Washington, and I'm sure he wanted people to think that's where it was at. He doesn't want a bunch of Bigfooters looking for the creature that he filmed.
We're just hugging the line right now.
Sorry about the bug-infested dirty window, people, but we have to look through it too. Silence is golden. So relaxing. Must get a lot of runoff right here.
Covered with moss.
It's beautiful. Bunch of old man's beard. Big hole. a big hole. I haven't seen it and went slow through it. Alright. Back into the ferns.
through here.
Yes, I agree. My gosh, you can see forever on top of this mountain.
I know.
They're within 5-6 miles of each other. Okay. Long ways down.
There's not much of a road on the side of this cliff.
Whoa. So this dirt road drive into Paul Freeman's video location, and we've also driven through his first Bigfoot area, where he first saw a Bigfoot. I mean, it just shows you the vastness and how remote the location is. You're starting to get an idea of where he was at. Milkweed.
Yep.
Bigfoot cabbage.
Bigfoot salad.
How we've seen so many berries up and around here that are all ripe too. Thimbleberries, elderberries. They've been ripe everywhere. You know, we've stayed along the border the whole way coming back here. I mean, as many times as we've crossed back and forth on the border, it could have happened on either side. I mean,
we're still riding the line.
Yeah. But we have to actually get there to where I'm 99% sure he filmed it in the location his buddies said it happened at. So we'll just have to see where it's at when we get there. On the maps, to me, it looks like it's on the Oregon side of the border. like it's 19 more miles on this one.
Wow.
No, 19 more minutes. Look at that thing down there. It tells you.
19 minutes.
And
5.6 miles. It's going to take longer than 19 minutes. On this shitty road.
it's pretty rough. They don't allow ATVs in this area, so you gotta drive, walk it, or ride a horse.
Smells like Christmas trees right here.
Yeah, it smells good. I don't care what direction you come back in here. There's 2 or 3 ways back in here. I mean, it's a remote place. It's in the middle of the Blue Mountains. And they're pretty much on the tops.
Yeah, they are. It's so awesome that there's actually access to places like this.
But right now we're about 4 or 5 miles away from where the Paul Freeman footage took place. We're getting closer. I doubt I'll ever find the exact spot, but I'm getting as close as I possibly can from all the information I've gathered.
We are gonna hike anyways, right?
Yeah. It's only 63 degrees out there. Nice cool area. If you're a big hairy body. On our way out of here, I'm gonna stop past one of the places Paul Freeman said he actually filmed it at. There's 3 or 4 places Paul Freeman says he filmed the film at, and I don't think he's telling the truth on any of them. I'm going to where his buddies said it happened right now. But on our way back out of here, there's a spring called the Duck Spring that he said that it happened at or near. But I think he was fibbing. He had a reason to fib. He doesn't want people finding his Bigfooting location. But I don't think his buddies had any motivation to fib. They're just fishermen and guys out riding horses. I think they gave up the correct location. And the location they gave up is only about 5-10 miles from one of the closer places Freeman said it happened. I'm saying one of the closer places because it's like one of 3. Take your pick. Obviously a spring real close to there. Even though a fire didn't come through here, like all the roads around here, they got it ready for a fire.
Yeah, they've been clearing out a big.
Yeah, they clear it back, trying to set up these defensive lines to stop the fires. About 2 or 3 miles away from it.
Big log.
Well, they're actively logging either side of the road back here in the Paul Freeman video location.
I think they're just clearing out both sides of the road.
Yeah, they're making a fire break. Killing two birds with one stone there. Satisfying the lumber needs. And they're making it easier to fight a fire if it comes through here. Either way, it is what it is. This is the area I'm 99% sure that Freeman shot the video. Or rather, we're getting close to it. There goes a hawk or an eagle. It was a good sized bird of prey. I don't know if the camera picked it up that far away. I saw it with my own two eyes. pretty close to where it happened. This looks like a place that you could park a horse trailer.
Go over there on that.
Somebody butchered a deer right there.
Oh yeah, they did.
Somebody's camped here.
It's a deer hunter's camp.
This is the direction we're supposed to go. Yeah, we're within a couple of miles where Paul Freeman filmed that right now, so you know that Bigfoot that he filmed hasn't been sitting on his hands in that same spot since he filmed it. So pretty much everything you guys are seeing right now is where it may live, and because of multiple sightings in the area over the years. Alright, that's the direction. That's the direction of Shoofly Creek. You can only get there on foot or horseback.
So now we're going to be on foot.
Yep, we're going to take a look around on foot. Paul Freeman video location. One of the spots we think it is. This is the spot that the guys that were hanging out with them said it happened. They said it happened near the Shoofly Creek area, which is on the Oregon side of the border. It's also close to one of the several locations that Freeman said it happened. The closest place that he said it happened was Deduct Spring, which is about 5 miles, 6 miles from here. But I think this is actually where it happened, is in this area. So we're gonna walk around, look a little for Bigfoot evidence. I don't know, get lucky, lightning strike twice and get the Freeman footage again. I highly doubt that. I doubt Bigfoot sits on his hands in a place where someone catches him on videos or spots him. But there's a lot of sightings up here in the Blue Mountains. It's a Bigfoot sighting hotspot. So we're gonna walk around, scan around. He had 2 sightings that I know of. One 10 years before it happened in the Mill Creek watershed area. And then he kind of become obsessed with proving it until he could film it. So he kept coming back into the area, and finally 10 years later he got lucky and got one on film really close to where I am right now. Okay, we're just coming out of the trailhead area of where we believe, or I believe through my research, that Paul Freeman may have started right here in this little area. May started back on horseback to the place they camped and captured that video of the Homer Simpson bodied Bigfoot. Now I'm taking you to the Deduct Spring. That's one of the 3 places that I know of that he says is where he filmed the Bigfoot. And I'm not going to film very much of this. We're backtracking to the spring. I took you guys about 5-6 miles away from the spring. Over near Shoofly Creek. Are they deer or elk? It's a deer. It's cooling down enough, the deer are starting to move.
Yeah.
Now hopefully the Bigfoot start to move. Now this is the Squaw Creek area, really close to Paul Freeman's video location. It's right between the places that his buddies say it happened and where he says it happened. One of the places that he says it happened, it's not too far from here, is Deduct Spring. And then Shoefly Creek is where his buddies say it happened. Friends say it happened at Shoefly Creek. He says it happened at Deduct Spring, so we're gonna take you to both the places. We just got done with Shoefly. Squaw Creek. I like all the names of places that we visit. Squaw Creek, Shoefly Creek, Deduct Spring, Blue Mountains. You know, the dozens and dozens of people that have seen Bigfoot in the Blue Mountains, you know, everybody will hee-haw about that. You know, did they all see a walking bear? Did they misidentify it as some other animal? Well, Paul Freeman's video out of here didn't look like a misidentified bear to me. I've watched that video hundreds of times, and it looks like a Bigfoot to me. We're closing in on Deduct Spring and Deduct Trailhead. This is one of the places Paul Freeman says that it happened near where he filmed it. So it's really close to the place his buddy said it happened. So in my opinion, it happened in one place or the other. They're only separated by about 5.5 miles. And in my opinion, if you're within about 10 miles of a Bigfoot sighting location, you know, you're right on top of it, because that Bigfoot isn't just going to sit in the spot that it was seen or filmed. Lush. Okay, we're coming up on the Deduct Spring Trailhead. This is one of the places Paul Freeman said it happened at. If it happened at Shoefly Creek, it happened in Oregon. And they separate each other by only 5.5 miles. This is a trailhead that we're going to, by the way. No motorized traffic off-road allowed up here, so no four-wheelers, no motorcycles, no jeeping it off-road. You either gotta walk or ride a horse. Well, we'll get out and film it and take some pictures. I think we found the spring. Oh yeah, here it is, deduct.
Trailhead. Yay!
This is the area. This is one of the places that Paul Freeman said it happened at. He's said it's happened at a couple of places. The Shoe Fly Creek area. That's the place that his fishing partners that were camping with him said that he filmed it. They're within 5 or 6 miles of each other. So this general area is a great place to look around. You know, unfortunately Paul Freeman passed away, and even if he was still alive, he may still be keeping this place to himself. We're leaving Deduct Spring and Shoe Fly Creek. We're leaving in the direction, one of the directions that they could have drove in to get to their camping spot. We came in from the longer way, from the Dayton area and the watershed area, but back in that area is where Paul Freeman had his first Bigfoot sighting that led to him coming back here time and again trying to get him on film. And we just left the filming location. This seems the more logical way for them to bring horse trailers in.
Yeah, the other way was so narrow and steep.
The other way is possible though. I think they probably more than likely come this way than the Dayton way, but I'm sure they've come all different kinds of ways up here camping and stuff. I mean, he spent a good solid 10 years trying to get that video after he had a Bigfoot sighting.
In 0.2 miles, turn right on NF30. Turn right on NF30.
There's no road here, lady.
Turn right on NF30. Recalculating. Drive 9.1 miles on NF65.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
We're on Mill Creek.
We're on 65.
Okay, we're on the Milk Creek Road, and Paul Freeman's very first Bigfoot sighting. 10 years before he filmed it, it crossed Milk Creek Road in front of him and a buddy in one of their service trucks. while they were actually doing Forest Service job duties in the Mill Creek watershed area. Don't know exactly where it crossed the road, but we're on the road that it crossed. So we're gonna film for you guys since we're in a Bigfoot sighting hotspot, and he's not the only one that's seen it cross the road. And we're coming back from 2 suspect areas that it happened at. He said in the Deduct Spring area at one point in time, and his friends said the Shoe Flight Creek area. We've visited both of those areas on this Bigfoot expedition. Now, if you guys are having a hard time seeing because of the sun glare, I'm driving and I can't see hardly anything staring into the sun. Okay, because we visited the place, I've got a better sense for it. You know, I had no idea that they were on top of a mountain when all this took place, you know what I mean? They were up near the summits.
Yeah,
both the places that, you know, where his buddy said they were, where he said they were, that are only separated by 5 miles, they're up on the summit of these Blue Mountains.
this is in the middle of nowhere, really.
And now we're coming down off the mountains.
We had to get a special topographical map just even get close to finding our way.
It's taken us a lot of research to get in and out of here. Of course, we're not from here and don't know our way around, you know. People that have grown up around these areas, they're like, oh yeah, I know where that's at. But it took us a lot of research to figure out where this place is. And there may be a couple people out there that Paul Freeman was frank with and actually took them to the spot that it happened. So I'm sure there's a couple lucky individuals out there that you're like, oh yeah, it was the Duck Creek area, or, you know, he took me to Shoe Flight Creek area, or there may be someone out there that says, oh no, he told me it was this place and he took me there. So, you know, he wanted to keep it a secret obviously, from the mainstream public. But all the stories come out of the Blue Mountains, so
we drove right through the middle of them today.
yeah, we've been driving back and forth on the Washington side of the Blue Mountains, the Oregon side of the Blue Mountains, visiting the places that we think it may have happened at. I really think it happened in the Shoe Flight Creek area. I don't think his buddies are trying to hide Bigfoot, hide where it happened, so I think they were frank with everybody that they talked to and said, oh yeah, Shoe Flight Creek.
For 12 hours today. So my sleeping bag is going to feel pretty good tonight.
Yeah, we've driven about 120 miles through the Blue Mountains, and we've done about 4 or 5 miles of hiking. We've hiked around at both the places that it may have happened at. Wow, the sun straight in my face is making it hard to drive.
Just don't fall off the cliff over there.
You got it. I promise to keep us on the road. I don't know if Jenny's told you guys this story, but we're lucky she's here today. When she was in high school, I think she was a junior, her and her date rolled off of a mountain and some trees caught the car, and it's this place called Francis Peak, and I've been up there, and that cliff is just straight up and down, and there isn't very many trees on the cliff side, so for their car to randomly roll off that road, off that cliff, and to be caught by the only few trees there, I mean, their guardian angels must have been with them that night. When you guys rolled that car off the mountain, well, Jenny wasn't driving, it was her date that rolled. I mean, did you get hurt?
I was a little sore and one of my legs was hurt, but nothing broke, no.
What about him?
A couple of cuts and stuff, but no.
Man, you guys are so lucky.
We only rolled, I don't know, a handful of times.
Only? One time's enough. That had to have been so scary.
Well, just things were flying in the air and glass was popping and metal was shrieking. I don't know exactly how many times we rolled over, but we landed on the roof of the car. And we opened up one side of the car. Well, the one side was pinned against the cliff side, so we couldn't get that door open, so we opened up the other car door, and we had to climb out over onto the bottom of the car because there was nowhere to actually...
Yeah, because you're going off the cliff.
We were hanging on the trees, so we actually had to climb out over onto the car, and one of the people in another car that was with us was standing on the bottom of the car reaching down and helping us out and up onto the bottom of the car, and then we just climbed up the mountainside and back up onto the road.
You know, that is a scary drive up there to and back down from Francis Peak, just because it's just a sheer drop off on one side almost the whole way.
Yeah.
So when I heard about that happen to her, we went to high school together, by the way, and so when I heard about that happen to her, I'm like, what? They rolled off of the Francis Peak Drive and survived?
Yeah. I had a really hard time driving on dirt roads, especially if they had a cliff on the side of them, for a really long time.
See what? The road's really, really washboarded bad, and it got the car just skipping. You know, he got going too fast, and an inexperienced young driver got going too fast, and the washboard just, from what I understand, just made him kind of skip to the side and eventually roll. Yep, unfortunately, kids usually learn their lessons the hard way. I'm sure he'll never drive on a washboard road the same way again.
We were both fine. He was very upset about his car, but other than that, we were fine.
Yeah, who cares about that damn car, right? As long as you guys both survived that, oh my heck. I'll give up any car to survive that one. Well, we came in from a possible way that Freeman may have came into during his fateful day, and I mean fateful in a good way. It may have been his fate to film Bigfoot that day, and he may have come in from the way we came from, the Dayton side. We're coming out on Mill Creek Road. This is another possibility he could have came in. This one seems
More
likely that they would have used this one to pull horse trailers. But you got to visit these places to figure it out.
That's why we're here. See what it's all about.
And I'm not really here to figure out his deal. I mean, he's got his deal. It's black and white and in color. He's got a Bigfoot walking across the screen. So we want to come into the places where people are seeing them. He filmed one, and hopefully we can get lightning to strike twice, and maybe visiting one of these places that people see Bigfoot or film it. Maybe we can get lucky and get one on film for you guys too.
That is what we do. That's kind of our gig. Going around looking for Bigfoot hotspots.
Yeah, I've had a couple of random comments. I mean, 99.9% of the comments on our YouTube are pretty positive comments, but every once in a while you get someone that either don't like Bigfoot, or people that look for Bigfoot, or just someone that's not very smart. But we had someone make the comment, "Why do you guys always look for other people's Bigfoots?" And I'm just like, oh, because they saw a Bigfoot in Idaho, now that's their Bigfoot? So we can't go look for that Bigfoot because someone else saw it? But if you were going to go look for Bigfoot, where would you look? Would you go to the circus? Would you go to the zoo? Or would you go to the places that people say they're seeing Bigfoot?
Well, not only that, but we like to report what has happened because it's interesting, and that's what we're interested in.
Right, and I like to let people know why we're in the area. It's like, well, why are you guys in the Blue Mountains? why are you guys looking for Bigfoot there? Why would you think that Bigfoot's there? And it's like, well, there's these couple of dozen Bigfoot sighting reports. Somebody filmed a Bigfoot there. So we actually go to the places, or as close as we can physically get to the places that people report them, and we do the news report. You know, so-and-so saw Bigfoot here in, 2004. This is what happened. This is what he reported. So we give an on-location report. It lets you guys know why we're in the area and looking for Bigfoot. We're just not pulling these random places out of the air saying, let's go look for Bigfoot here. We're going here for a reason. People are seeing them there. I cleaned the inside and the outside of these windows really good before this trip. And then every time I get gas, I clean the outsides. And I do this a lot.
They know because they see it.
And so any of the gunk that you guys see on the inside or the outside of these windows, I really apologize for, but I've done what I could to keep these as clean as possible. Aside from having Windex inside my car and cleaning every time I pull over, but I should probably do that.
You can probably wait till you get off the dirt road.
Oh, I don't have Windex or anything with me. Some trips I have. I just didn't think about it this trip. A lot of times I'll keep some type of a window cleaner inside. Especially if I know we're going to be filming the trip in and out like we are now.
Going and seeing sighting locations. There are so many places. The most impressive, out of the way places that I would have never ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of impressive places we'd have never seen if we weren't into Bigfooting.
Yeah, there's no reason why I personally would ever have gone to those places for any reason. Because there's just not something there that would pull the average person there.
Yeah, you think about it. A lot of times when someone does a summer trip or whatever, they'll visit like a beach or a national park.
Or someplace to go river rafting or whatnot. But not out in the middle of nowhere to a trailhead that maybe, a handful of people go and visit. So, I don't know. It's just a really, really fun thing to do. People always, I have friends that are always laughing at me, where are you going now? And I'll be like, well, we went here and we went there and, and some people snicker and I'm like, well, what did you do? Oh, I stayed home and I cleaned my house. Oh, well, I washed my car. Well, I mowed the lawn. Well, I went over to Annie so-and-so's house and had dinner. But I've been, just this summer, we have been all over the Rocky Mountains, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Utah, California, Nevada,
Arizona.
And that's just this summer.
That's just this year, yes.
Yeah,
looking for Bigfoot.
And I have so many fun experiences and so many fun places and had such a good time. And Some people just sit in their living room and watch television. So I'm pretty happy with what I do.
The attractions for me is the travel. You know, like Jenny says, we get to travel all these places, and then it's a modern day mystery. You know, Bigfoot, for all intents and purposes, have not been solved. You know, a lot of people are knowers that have seen it, and there's still speculation about some of the videos and stuff out there, and it isn't accepted by mainstream science. There's not enough proof, so it's still one of those modern day mysteries, and there isn't very many modern day mysteries left, but you know, Bigfoot definitely is one of those few, and we enjoy camping and looking for Bigfoot.
We have found the neatest places. In the middle of nowhere, you'll find just this ghost town in the middle of nowhere where people haven't seen it for forever, and you're up there looking at a cabin or a farm or a homestead that nobody's lived in for 100 years.
Yeah, when you're going off the grid like we do, you do get to see some old mining towns, some old homesteads, so you get to see a lot of ghost town, ghost houses, a lot of history. It's amazing how many old mining communities that we go find we joke around, you know, it's like, God, there's usually Bigfoot where there's gold, you know what I mean? A lot of these gold places, like when we was in Jarbidge, it was a big time gold place. And then Deadwood, there's Idaho Deadwood.
There's a deer on the road right in front of us.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera's picking that up. There's a couple of them.
Running down the middle of the road.
I'll zoom in. Oh, it went fuzzy in the camera just as they left the road.
There they are, a mama and a baby.
Yeah, if the camera didn't get it, I don't think anyone's gonna accuse us of making that up. Now, if it was a Bigfoot that ran across the road and the camera didn't get it, we might get accused of making that one up. Gotta make sure our camera gets the Bigfoot if he crosses the road.
Well, let's just not zoom in. It's better to get a faraway picture than a zoomed in blurry picture.
Yeah, I'd like to get it as clear as possible.
Also, sometimes in the middle of nowhere on the top of a mountain, we'll find some sort of a rock statue monument or grave sites or just weird things like that. Like today we found a monument about the guy who made the dirt road up over on the top of the Blue Mountains we took today.
A little bit of his history.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. We find a lot of continental divide
areas, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those continental divide areas we found are usually Montana and Wyoming.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there was one in Idaho.
Yeah.
On the Idaho-Montana border, there's a continental divide.
Yeah.
Where the Ballman location is.
That's right.
The famous Ballman, the deadly Bigfoot sighting. Ballman says his buddy got killed by some type of a monster that today would people would consider a Bigfoot.
Mill Creek Road.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to make it to Walla Walla. There's a... It's just...
Right.
Yeah.
Walla Walla is the closest town to all this. Closest major town, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little towns, but Walla Walla is the major one. Wow, we're starting to see some civilization finally.
Oh yeah, Seattle Seahawk.
We haven't
People live there all year long.
seen a resident in 90 miles.
Nope.
90 miles of dirt road, no resident until now.
They still live on a dirt road, but that is the first civilized thing we've seen all day.
Hope you guys enjoy the Blue Mountains. They've been awesome.
We're gonna go out again tomorrow. Hike some more.
Heck yeah.
To scare you. You're okay. Yeah, this is the time of night all the animals start to move.
Yeah, it's a good time to keep a camera going, I guess. In another half hour to an hour, there won't be enough light for this camera to be able to film anymore.
No. And our night camera doesn't do much good unless we're out walking around.
Well, after dark, I'd rather have the night camera into the headlights than than this camera.
Yeah, we can do that.
But we should be off the mountain by the time it's dark. What, we're 13 miles from Walla Walla? Yeah, we're really close to civilization.
I don't think we're 13 miles from Walla Walla. We're 13 miles till we turn off again.
To Interchange Road near Walla Walla.
Yeah.
Okay. I just know when the road starts getting nicer, you know you're getting closer to civilization. Oh, I see some utility wires. Some power.
And signs are starting to show up.
I'm smelling campfires. Somebody's private drive up there.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Clicker's Homestead.
Oh, they say they got blueberries.
There's a bunch of deer sitting in that field right there. They're bedded down right there.
Yeah. Back there in the grass.
Yep. When we're coming out of a Bigfoot sighting hotspot and you start seeing people's summer homes and cabins and stuff, I'm always like, have they ever seen one on their property? Have they had one window peek home, you know? Yep. Million questions. Have you guys seen Bigfoot? just saw a sign in somebody's property that said, "Don't drive through hell. Don't drive like hell through here." Oh, somebody's got a teepee.
That's pretty cool. Well, there's a lot of mailboxes. There's some year-round residents here. This really is civilization. Civilization on a dirt road. Well, I want to live where Bigfoot lives. It's a great spot to live if you're a Bigfooter.
Yeah, what kind of snowfall does Washington get?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I haven't lived here a year to know.
Walla Walla County.
Alright, we're back to a paved road. We just drove over 100 miles of dirt road. And we took you guys up over the mountain peaks of some of the Blue Mountains, where there were quite a few Bigfoot sightings along there, including the Paul Freeman Bigfoot sighting and Bigfoot video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If we see anything of interest, the rest of our drive will certainly flip the camera back on. But this is probably the conclusion of our Paul Freeman and the Blue Mountain Bigfoot Roundtable drive. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.